Well, welcome to Amazing South Bay Homes Radio. This is your coach, Tim, and I'm here with a special guest today, Xavier of AmazingSouthBayHomes.com, and he's going to tell us about the amazing South Bay and a little bit about the real estate market in the South Bay of Los Angeles. Sam, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Pleasure to be on your radio podcast.
Yeah, very cool. Sam, tell me about, first of all, we're here in the South Bay, but there's people maybe from other parts of the country listening today, and they may think of South Bay as something else. Can you tell us about the South Bay?
Yeah,
where is it?
Well, the South Bay, it could be known in maybe 3 or 4 parts of the continental United States. There's a South Bay in Florida. There's a South Bay here in Los Angeles. There's a South Bay in San Diego, as well as there's a South Bay in the Northern California Bay Area. But what I specifically focus on is the South Bay area of Los Angeles, and that comprises about 13 different cities and municipalities. And we're right along the coast here in Southern California in Los Angeles County, just south of the Los Angeles International Airport. And it also encompasses the Palos Verdes Peninsula as well as San Pedro.
So my understanding is essentially it's the South Bay, South Santa Monica Bay, right?
Yes, that is correct, Tim.
And so on the far side of the bay is Santa Monica and Malibu, and in the middle is LAX, and then all the way to PV. And something that you told, that when you said PV, went off in my mind, and that is one of my favorites of the South Bay is being up on the hill up there at night, and there's a thing called the Queen's Necklace, right?
Yes. It's a very beautiful ocean view, and you can typically find that view in Palos Verdes Estates, as well as parts of the Hollywood Riviera, which is actually a neighborhood in South Redondo Beach.
So let's go back a little bit before we get into deep into the South Bay areas. What got you into real estate? How did you get into this game?
Well, I get that question asked a lot, and it's kind of an interesting journey. I was in computer IT sales for about 16 years. I started out after college back on the East Coast, lived in the Washington, D.C. area, and I moved to Southern California in the summer of 1991, and I was primarily working with a lot of government, aerospace, educational institutions on their requirements for memory as well as data storage. And after the millennium in the year 2000, 2001, computers more or less became a commodity, and my services were really pretty much no longer needed. So what we did was we put together a plan of starting my own business, and I've bought and sold several homes in my lifetime. And at that point, I got my license in the summer of 2004, and I started practicing that fall. And I've been doing it ever since. And I have a partner on the Xavier team. Her name's Bindu Xavier, and she's my wife. And she was a stay-at-home mom, and we got her into the business back in 2007. And today we are a successful husband-wife team with RE/MAX Estate Properties, and we service the greater South Bay area.
So, when I think of realtor, and I think a lot of people do this, and there's a stereotyping that's put out there on television, and for whatever reason, either earned or unearned, but it is what it is. What makes you so successful in your niche?
Well, in our team, our biggest focus is our customers, our clients that we serve, whether it's a seller, a buyer, a landlord, a tenant, or even a property investor. We treat each individual equally, and what we do is we sit down and we find out what are the 4 or 5 things that are the most important to them when it comes to buying or selling real estate. And from there, we tailor what the market has to offer here in the South Bay of Los Angeles to meet their requirements and fulfill whether it's a relocation, whether it's a job transfer, whether it's getting to a better school district. it's a lifestyle. So we kind of look at ourselves as, we don't just sell houses. We change people's lives with helping them get on to the next chapter in their particular situation.
Yeah, I remember your wife Bindu saying at one point that, and I forget this sometimes, that this is someone's biggest financial transaction that they'll do in their life.
Yeah, that's almost like her trademark. Bindu's primarily a buyer specialist, and when she's interviewed, she always tells buyers that, hey, I'm going to help you with the largest transaction that you'll ever possibly ever make, and if I won't buy it, you shouldn't buy it. So we look at it as if it's our own money when it comes to helping a buyer purchase a home or investment property.
And she really seems like she puts her almost like a mama bear around her clients. Is the feeling I get.
Just like myself, we treat everybody like family. So when you engage with us, you're like, my brother, my sister, my aunt, my uncle, my parent, and we only want the best for our clients.
Incredible. So over these many years, I'm sure you've probably have seen some pretty wild transactions. Are there any favorites or funny stories that you have in your history and experience that you mind sharing?
Well, we've seen it all, as they say. We focus a lot with the senior community, and a lot of it is end of life, probate, trust sales, and we've helped a lot of seniors, sell that or liquidate that asset for their family estate. A lot of them move off to assisted living, but end result is at the end of the day, that is a large asset in somebody's estate, and what we like to do is investigate, who lived there. We might have, been in a property that's been lived in by the same family household for maybe 40 or 50 years, which is a half a decade. And from there, we'll see all kinds of memorabilia when it comes to, their albums, their, artwork on the walls, their personal taste. It's almost like you encompass somebody's whole life when you go to list one of those homes. And a lot of the times we have to be more or less the seller, because if the owner's passed away, we're going to be the ones that are going to hire the estate sale company. We're the ones that are going to hire the clean out and trash out companies. We're the ones that are going to sell automobiles. And once the property's on the market, we're going to be actively trying to find a new buyer for that home and create lasting memories just like the previous homeowner did.
Phenomenal. I'm sure along that same theme, are some favorite areas of the South Bay that you've sold homes, or maybe I know that, you've represented many a home seller and a home buyer over the years, but you've also, as part of that process, have to get a handle on the inventory. So every week you're out and about looking at what's new and making sure that you know what's on the market. Are there any homes that you just found really fascinating or intriguing throughout in your marketplace here in the South Bay?
Yeah, well, what we've seen over the last 10 years is a lot of new development. So we've got developers coming in, and they're transforming neighborhoods. So you might have a beautiful, beach cottage on the avenues in South Redondo Beach, and sure enough, one by one, you got the developers that are coming in, bulldozing those and building these beautiful mini mansions. Matter of fact, we're working with a family right now. They bought the home in 2014, brand new from the builder, 3,300 square feet, 2-story Mediterranean. And sure enough, the husband got transferred to Austin, Texas, and they approached us to get their home on the market and listed and sold. So it's in a great school district. Our kids actually went to the same elementary school where this home resides. We know that particular neighborhood, and the proximity to Riviera Village, the Esplanade in South Redondo Beach, on a cul-de-sac. It makes the perfect home for a family that's looking to raise their kids and be in a great school district. Matter of fact, Redondo Beach Unified School District was just mentioned in the top 100 schools in California as one of the top high schools.
Oh, wow, cool. So you have a couple things that I find interesting. One is you lead a referral group of local businesses here in the South Bay. What prompted you to do that, and what goes on there?
Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. You've actually even attended a few of our meetings. So back in 2014, almost 5 years ago, I was looking at a way to give back to my community. And I've been quite involved with networking and meeting people, speaking. So what I thought was, hey, there's a lot of networking, groups that are out there. Some of these, charge, thousands of dollars to be a part of, application fees. And I said, hey, there's got to be a better solution out there for the small business owner that wants to get together, meet, and mingle every week. So I founded the Redondo Beach Referral Networking Group back in August of 2014. I was one of the first members. Started out with a group of maybe 4 people that I knew that owned small businesses. And today, after almost 4.5 years of meeting every week, we have over 25 members on our roster. We get referrals on almost a weekly basis. And our whole motto is to grow our business with the fellow small business owner here in the South Bay. So we've got people from vast industries. We've got automotive repair. We've got an interior designer. We've got a financial planner. It's almost like a little city hall. Me and my wife are the realtors in the group, and it's been quite a success. We've generated several new business opportunities, as well as we've met local businesses that can help us with all the different attributes of being a business owner, such as printing, graphic design, signage, and also having a resource for elder law with probate and trust administration attorneys, as well as mortgage bankers when it comes to getting our new clients pre-approved for financing to buy their home.
And you also make the space available through your office. Right?
That's one of the advantages. A lot of people always ask me, "Hey, Sam, you're so successful. Why don't you start your own company?" And I said, well, the reality of it is we already are our own company. We franchise one of the biggest names in real estate, and that's RE/MAX. And the RE/MAX model is you franchise our name and you run your business accordingly. So we have a office space of about 16 offices throughout the greater South Bay area and west side of Los Angeles, as well as Palos Verdes, and we have a large conference center that's, in my mind, somewhat underutilized, but the company makes that available to us small business owners, and they make that a part of our franchise fee, so we don't pay an extra penny. And we've got plenty of parking, and we have a speaker every week. And I'm just so glad that this group is well known in the small business community of the South Bay.
Now, let me get into the real estate buying and selling for a second. When a person comes to you to buy, I was looking at your website, and you have a down payment assistant program, correct?
Yes, that's right. We work with a company called Landed, and what they do is they provide matching down payment assistance to any local school teachers, administrators, or employees that are looking to get into home ownership. So we've recently helped several people in the Redondo Beach Unified School District, the Hawthorne School District, get into home ownership and stop paying their landlord's mortgage.
Very cool. Before we wrap this up, tell me the last property that you sold. Tell me about it.
Well, the last property I sold was a duplex. It was over here in the city of Gardena. And this is an interesting case. So the owner lives down in South Orange County. Her dad built it back in 1941. It was just a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. And then 1947, he added a identical 2-bedroom, 1-bath in the back. And he passed away maybe 15, 20 years ago, and my client inherited it. And I couldn't believe it. She had two tenants that were there for maybe 10-plus years, and each one more or less took over. So one of them had a large camper in the back that I think he was subletting out. The other one was a hoarder. He had like 20 TVs in his little two-bedroom unit. And we brought in our crew, and, unfortunately she had to do an eviction to get those two tenants out. But once we did the sheriff's lockout, we got our handyman over there, and we refinished the floors, we repainted. We got our landscaper to take the trailer off our hands. We rebuilt the fence. We re-landscaped both the front and backyards, and sure enough, we put it on the market and got it sold in less than a week to a well-qualified investor, all cash, and sold it as is.
Very cool. Now tell me about your most recently listed property.
Okay. We're working on some of them. Right now we're in the spring selling season. And the most recent is a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 3,300 square foot. It's a luxury home. And it's in the $2.3 million range. So that is a property that not most buyers here in the South Bay can necessarily afford. But one thing I wanted to mention is the South Bay being proximity to Los Angeles, the Hollywood movie industry. We've got several sports, professional sporting teams now with the Los Angeles Rams as well as the Los Angeles Chargers moving to the area. So there's a lot of high net worth individuals that may be looking for a home of that stature. So we're going to be staging it, fully staged with modern furniture, decorating it. We've done some minor cosmetics to make it appear as if it was a brand new home. And it's going to be going on the market next week. And we're going to have a broker's open on Thursday and public open houses every week until we get it under contract. So if you're looking for a beautiful 2-story Mediterranean in the greater South Bay area in the city of Redondo Beach, we would love to hear from you and have you come check it out.
You just reminded me of the Redondo and Hermosa along the coast. They're pretty big for the Kings and Lakers.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Lakers, Kings, Dodgers. Matter of fact, another notable client that we recently worked with was Kenley Jansen, the pitcher with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Helped him buy a home here in South Torrance about 2 years ago. And we worked through his agent, and sure enough, he was in the process of renewing his contract with the L.A. Dodgers, and he was even so anxious to get into the home, we leased it out to him while he was in escrow.
Very neat. That's neat. That's a great story. Well, Sam, I appreciate your time. I would love if you would give your website as well as how to get a hold of you through the old-fashioned means called the phone.
Sure. Okay. Well, our website's known as www.AmazingSouthBayHomes.com, and you can reach me directly on my cell, and that's 310-866-7598. We're also all over social media. We have a social media business page on Facebook. It's called Xavier and Xavier Realtors. You can go there, as well as we have a kind of a left-branded Facebook page, which matches our identity on the internet, and that's called Amazing South Bay Homes.
Very neat. Sam, I appreciate your time, and I really suggest people get in touch with you when they have any real estate questions or needs.
Yes. We welcome you to come to one of our many offices. We're based here in the Riviera Village on Elena Avenue in South Redondo Beach. We also have a Torrance office here on Hawthorne Boulevard in South Torrance. But wherever you'd like to meet, we're always open to coming to your place if it's a little bit more convenient for you.
Very good. Sam, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Kim. It's been a pleasure.